What's up, Cyber World? It's your girl, Ash Brown, and this is Ash Brown Uncensored. On this program, I talk a little bit about everything. It may be pop culture related, but it's probably Ash Brown related. So you gotta stay tuned to see what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so forewarning, this one is gonna be a little heavy. It's gonna be a little emotional. It's gonna be a little sad because I still, after 33 years, I still don't understand how someone can be evil and just downright wicked to a 6-year-old. So I'm talking about when my family and I moved to the South. I was 6 years old. And prior to that, the Bronx was everything. The Bronx was the day and the night. The Bronx was my place because I had never lived anywhere else before. In the Bronx, I just had so much community, so much connection. I had relatives that lived, like grandparents who lived down the street from us. My school was at the top of the hill from where they lived. I used to pass my grandparents' house every day to go to school. And it was just a sense of, just everything was so interconnected. And I just really loved that. So when we moved to the South, we had one cousin that was here already, but they kind of seemed like they really didn't like kids. And I kind of picked up on it, and it wasn't the same just warmth that I had known from the Bronx and from New York. It wasn't that same warmth of community. And that cousin really wasn't around like that. So, moved down, and I was in the first grade, and the teacher that I was assigned to was single-handedly one of the most wicked people that I had ever known. And she put on a front when we first, got acquainted and everything. And I got introduced to my class and everything. And you kind of feel like, oh, wow, this is going to be it. This is going to be, where I'm at and in this new school. And everything is just so different. Everything looks different. The neighborhoods look different. The schools look different. And getting to this class, this woman was just so evil to me for no reason. She didn't know me from a can of paint. She's probably like 40-something years old. She's already had her kids. She's probably in a terrible marriage. I don't know what her problem was that you would inflict that on a 6-year-old. It started off with like little snarky comments about me being from the North. And then it got into her marking my paperwork and my homework wrong when it was right. I got locked in the bathroom. They had these little bathrooms that were in the classrooms. So they were attached to the classrooms. And for whatever reason, I don't even know why. If y'all know that these bathrooms self-lock, why isn't it fixed? Why the frick wasn't it fixed? And then I had no idea. So I go in there to do my business real quick and try to come out. And I am getting hysterical because the door is not opening. And it couldn't have been, it probably wasn't more than like a minute or so of me pounding on the door, screaming, crying, tears streaming down my face. And one of my classmates opens the door, and the teacher and the entire class are laughing. They're laughing at me. They thought it was so funny. And things like that, it's traumatic. You never forget stuff like that. You never forget it. I remember getting my report card and it having to the side of it estimated graduation date 2001. And I remember thinking like, wow, wow, 2001, that is so huge, it's so big. Like, that just, just blew my mind. You think of like the Jetsons and futuristic stuff. This lady turned to me, y'all. She turned to me and said, oh, don't worry about that estimated date. Don't worry about that. You're not smart enough to graduate from high school. You'll never have to worry about that. And I remember just thinking, I don't understand why this lady is treating me like this. I don't understand why. And I remember at some point, and it's probably because my mom she knew something was off and she knew something was wrong. And she began to challenge this teacher as far as, again, marking my paperwork wrong. Everyone knows the North is always more advanced than the South. It's just how it's been. The school systems, everything is always more advanced up North. And the stuff that we were doing, like the math stuff that we were doing at that point, I'd already done. And I was, racing against the clock, and I was finishing my work before the other kids and doing my homework. And I'm counting out loud and not understanding why this woman would mark my work wrong. And I remember that all of a sudden, there was a paraprofessional added to our class, and it was a Black woman. I don't think that's an accident. I don't think that was, just randomly. No. She was put in there. She was placed in there to watch this woman, to make sure that she treated me fairly. And it was just, it was a lot. It was a lot. And I remember just thinking, I don't know why she's treating me like this. And I don't know why my classmates are laughing at this and they're siding with her. I had one friend, this girl named Cynthia Bronax. It's one friend. She is the only kid that stood up for me, that would sit with me at lunch. I had another friend that I had made, Donald Holder, and Daryl. I forgot what Daryl's name was, his last name. But Daryl's a little Black kid. Donald was white, and they were like best friends. And I had like moved from Boston, I think. They moved from someplace up north. And they had moved down like mid year type of thing. I don't know. I don't remember if it was the end of the year or beginning of 90, but they had moved down and they were in our class and they were my friends and they did right by me and they lived in our neighborhood. And sometimes we would go out, they would come out to my house and, can Ashley come out and play? And, and just were good people, good young people. And they had seen what had happened. They had seen me just dealing with this woman that she was treating me unkind. They could see it. They may not be able to understand it at that time. And, I don't know, for whatever reason, she was fixated on me. She was fixated on being evil and wicked to me. And I have to say that, no, I'm not angry. No, I'm not bitter or wishing this person any kind of evil or malice. I pray that God has mercy on their soul. Because if you can treat a child the way I was treated and try to hold your head high, I mean, I know what you deserve. But may God have mercy on your soul. That's if you're even still here. Wickedness, y'all. Wickedness. But yeah, treat good kids good. When you sit up here and mistreat people because of their complexion, because of their voice, because of maybe the little accent that they have, that stays with that child. They'll get over it at some point in life, but the memories are always there. Always there. And it's not, when you've traumatically just damaged someone, an apology is really inconsequential. It really isn't. It doesn't matter. And just keep going. Just keep going. But yeah, wicked ass people out there, you will get exactly what you deserve. The people that were harmed by your energy and your wicked spirit, they're going to be okay. They're going to survive to some degree. But you, what you deserve, you better pray that you don't get. You better pray that you don't get it. But I'm going to holler at y'all later. Have a great one.